Hello everyone, I'm Sarah from Sarah Style Designs, and today we will be comparing brush pens. We have Tombows versus Karin's. So we are going to start out with Tombow dual brush pens, and these have been the original brush pen for a long time. It's been a company that I have heard of since I started lettering and calligraphy in 2018, and they are very popular within the calligraphy community. They have a wide variety of products, and they even have a line of alcohol brush pens. They are known for their dual brush pens, which have a brush nib on one side and a bullet nib on the other side. They're also known for having a huge range of colors and many different sets that you can. The good thing about Tombow markers is that they're heavily available in many stores. You can find them in Michael's. They're easy to access online as well. They are a large brush nib pen, and one thing about these brush nibs is that you can really vary the width of the brush nib on the downstroke. So you can go from a smaller downstroke to a really thick and heavy downstroke based on your pressure that you apply. Now, Karin markers are actually newer to the market, but they came in very strong. They are known for their liquid ink technology, which means that the ink will remain consistent in quality and vibrancy until the very last drop. They have a Japanese super durable and flexible nylon tip, and the ink is also an intense dye-based color. Now, Karin markers, they also come in a huge variety of colors, and their colors are super vibrant, but they are not quite as available as Tombows are. It's a lot more difficult to find them, especially if you're in the United States. So now we are going to do a side-by-side comparison based on a lot of different qualities. So the first quality is going to be the flexibility of the nib. So just a little picture of the comparison of the nib sizes. The Tombow one is a little bit bigger. Now, as far as the flexibility goes, I would say that you can actually flex the Tombow pen more just because it's a little bit larger. The nib is actually a little bit larger, so you can get a really thick downstroke based off of the pressure. Now with the Karin marker, one thing is that it is very flexible and it bounces back really well too. But the thick downstroke isn't quite as thick as the Tombow, just based on it's actually physically impossible for it to be larger just because of the size of the nib. So within this category, I'm going to say that Tombow wins as far as the flexibility of the nib goes. Now we're going to be in the category of control. So what I mean by control is it easy to control it when going from that thin upstroke to the thick downstroke? That's one quality in a brush pen that you really want, is one that you can control a lot easier. With the Tombow, it is fairly easy to control, but at the same time, as you can see on my upstrokes, it's a lot more difficult to control on the upstrokes. So that makes it not so much of a great pen for beginners because it's difficult to have that consistency on the upstrokes. Now with the Karin marker, it's a lot easier to control from upstroke to downstroke. Those transitions are really easy and it just flows. So as far as that goes, I will give Karin markers the upper hand in this category. Next is going to be color range. So for Tombows, they have 108 colors as of this video, so they may have more later on down the road. And for Karin Markers, they have 72 colors. So as far as colors go, Tombow wins in that category. Now we are going to test out the vibrancy of the ink. And I will preface this by saying, yes, I know these are two different color blues, so I know that it's not going to be perfect. But the Tombow one is written at the top, and then the Karin one is written at the bottom. And as far as vibrancy goes, even with the words above it, control, I mean, you can see which one is more vibrant, and I believe it has to do with that liquid ink technology. And so I'm going to say that Karin Markers wins that one. Now I'm going to go to the category of longevity, and I have had my Tombows for probably 6 years, and then I've had my Karin Markers for about 5 years. And I can say that for the most part, they both have lasted a very long time. So they're both great picks as far as that goes. Now, one versus the other, I will say I've had to throw out a lot of Tombows because they've either dried out, not because I didn't put the cap on, just because I've had them for a long time. And as far as the Karin markers go, I haven't had to throw out any of them. And again, I think it's due to the liquid ink technology, because you can basically keep using these pens down to the last drop. So again, Karin Markers is going to win that category. Now, as far as durability goes, I have used both of these markers because I've used Tombow markers before I used Karin markers. Tombows were one of the ones that I have started with. So I have a good run with Tombows as well as Karin markers. And using these on a variety of surfaces, you learn which ones can handle it and which ones cannot. And one big rule about lettering pens is that you don't want to use it on a rough paper. However, I will say that Karin markers are a little bit different because of that nylon tip. And I am using it on a rough surface to kind of test it out. And I've used Karin markers on watercolor paper many times because of how juicy the ink is. It needs a thicker paper to withstand that, especially if you're doing blending. Now, as far as Tombows, I've tried it on a watercolor paper, despite everyone saying don't do it. And I've learned why they say don't do it, because it really does fray the nib of the brush pen. So I can say that with the Tombow, eventually it will fray your nib, whereas the Karin markers I've used on watercolor paper over and over again, and it has still lasted. So I'm going to say, as far as durability, Karin markers wins this one too. I believe it's pretty obvious about which one is going to win this competition, but my choice between Tombow and Karin markers is definitely going to be Karin markers. They are just so great for beginners. It's so easy to control. They have bright colors, so easy to blend with them. They're just super versatile. Even the carrying case is nice and sleek and is great to have on your desk. Now, one thing that I will say about Tombows, I have loved Tombows for a long time until I had my Karin markers. So I think it can just be a preference thing too. I will say my favorite is Karin, but maybe yours might be Tombow. If you've tried both of them out before, let me know which one is your favorite, because maybe we have different opinions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know if there's other brush pens you would like me to compare. I'm happy to do so. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.